the world's most evil and haunted locations. Some places don't just have ghosts, they've kept the evil that made them. Walk through the right doorway at the wrong hour, and you'll swear history's still breathing down your neck. These 5 spots, they're not on anybody's cozy weekend getaway list. Locals won't joke about them after dark, and the people who've spent the night, well, some of them still flinch at the sound of their own footsteps. Ready? Let's go ring the doorbell. Leap Castle, Ireland. If stone could bruise, Leap Castle would be black and blue. Built in the 1200s by the O'Bannons and later commandeered by the O'Carrolls, its walls soaked up 1,000 years of family grudges. Picture this. You're at Mass, your brother walks in, and before the priest can finish the Sanctus, you're bleeding out on the flagstones. That's the bloody chapel for you. Body yanked away so the service could wrap up on schedule. Years later, workmen pried open a sealed shaft and found an oubliette, a murder hole, packed with bones stacked 3 meters high. 3 carts, full load, just to haul the evidence away. Ever since, a lanky shadow they call the elemental limps. The corridors at dusk. His joints look like they're bending the wrong way, and the air around him feels like someone left the freezer door open. Investigator Ryan O'Neill watched the thermostat plummet 15 degrees in 3 heartbeats. A guest in the blue room woke with matching bruises on her throat and nothing but moonlight for company. The police report? Unexplained. The owner, Sean Ryan, won't set foot in the North Tower after dark. The house doesn't like the dark, he says. Can't argue with the landlord. Villisca Axe Murder House, Iowa, USA. June 10th, 1912. The clock ticks past midnight and 8 people, 6 of them kids, are dead, skulls split by the blunt side of an axe. Killer tiptoes through the house in the dark, even covers the mirrors like he's tidying up for company. 90 minutes later, the neighbor finds the scene and the screaming doesn't stop for hours. Nobody's ever been charged. The floorboards are the originals. Blood still hiding in the grain like cheap wine. By day, it's a tourist shuffle. By night, you can rent the place for $50 until sunrise. Most groups tap out by 2 a.m. Marvin Lee, a researcher, stuck it out in 2019. At 3:07 a.m., he heard giggles bleeding down from the attic. His recorder caught a male whisper. All 9. Only 8 bodies, remember. Debate still raging about the 9th. In 2014, a woman was found upstairs with a kitchen knife in her leg, swearing she was alone. CCTV shows her talking to thin air at the foot of the stairs. Sheriff just shook his head. We've got nothing to... Caretaker Johnny Hauser keeps a logbook by the door. Every signature ends the same way, same shaky ink. Leave. Eastern State Penitentiary, Philadelphia. Use cell. Opened 1829. Price tag higher than the U.S. Capitol at the time. Plan was simple. Lock a man alone until his soul gives up and talks to God. Inmates ate in silence, exercised in silence. Break the rule. And the guards broke you. Cell Block 4 still carries the tally marks. Run your finger and you'll feel a prisoner counting days that never seemed to end. After the place shuttered in 1971, nature moved in. Black mold on the bricks, air that tastes like old pennies. People see shadows peel off the walls and slide the wrong way against the light. Cell Block 12 is the favorite. A tall, faceless shape that walks through infrared sensors, and drains every battery in 6 seconds flat. Ranger Denise Curry was giving a tour when an icy voice behind her asked, "What are you doing in my cell?" Gate was locked. No one inside. Al Capone spent 8 months in cell 40. Guards said he cried every night, begging for a priest because James Clark, one of the men he'd had shot, wouldn't leave him alone. These days, the pen runs a haunted house fundraiser every Halloween. Staff still come in each morning to find the break room radio tuned to 1930s jazz, even though the juice is cut after hours. Ghosts have taste. Manaing ka kodum. Herto. Stephen King checked into room 217 in 74 and checked out with a novel in his head. Nice origin story, but the Stanley didn't wait for writers to notice it. Freeland Stanley built the hotel in 1909 as a cure for his wife's TB. Guests started dying instead. Room 401 is the troublemaker. Suitcases unzip themselves. Shirts fold into perfect toddler-sized origami cranes. In the ballroom, a ghost pianist tickles out a chord nobody can reproduce. Security guard Luis Martinez once chased phantom music down a hallway that ends in a solid wall. Sound kept going on the other side. 4th floor used to be a children's convalescent ward. At 3 a.m., you'll hear the pitter-patter of little feet, followed by a woman's gentle shush. Front desks logged 412 complaints about phantom children in 10 years. Tour guide Madeline Garcia won't take the service elevator after midnight. Last winter it opened on the 2nd floor with no call, and a man in 1920s tales stepped in, cold as February. Madeline asked if he was a guest. He smiled and said, "I never left." Doors opened again. Empty car, same reflection in the mirror. But Madeline's still staring 2 feet to the right of nothing. Shelbourne Hotel, Dublin. 5-star linens, afternoon tea, and 1 permanent 7-year-old. The Shelbourne sits pretty on St. Stephen's Green, but room 526 belongs to Mary Masters, who died of cholera on that spot in 1791. She doesn't seem bitter, just lonely. Guests hear skipping in the corridor. 1, 2, 3. Pause, then a giggle that suddenly sounds way too adult. One businessman woke to his bedside lamp unscrewing itself, bulb rolling across the carpet like an eyeball. Housekeeping keeps a stuffed lamb in the wardrobe. No one admits putting it there, yet every night it's waiting. Siobhan Flynn, the supervisor, tried removing it once. Next morning, lamb back in place, every TV on the 5th floor tuned to static. Last year, investigator Shara O'Sullivan asked, "Mary, do you want to play?" A child's voice crackled back, "Hide." They found the lamb crammed inside the ice bucket. Management no longer rents 526 to solo travelers. If you beg, they'll walk you to the door and murmur, "We're not responsible for what you invite in." 5 addresses, 1 ugly truth. The violence that started the fire never really burned out. It just learned how to hide in the smoke. If you've ever spent the night in one of these rooms, drop your story below. And if these tales had you double-checking the locks, go ahead and hit subscribe. We're nowhere near finished knocking on doors. History gives evil a forwarding address. Leip's Elemental, Villisca's Axe, Eastern State's Silent Stones, the Stanley's Never-Ending Ball, and Mary's Skipping Feet. They all stick around because the cruelty that woke them was too big for any grave. So, The real question isn't whether ghosts are real. It's whether we're brave enough to admit we're already splitting the rent. Thank you for watching Fear Files Real Nightmares. Until next time, keep your lights on and your doors locked.